Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SCW Slam City Wrestling Episode 8. This is, I assure you, we're open. It's being held in front of 100 people at the Battleship for a third time. Mike and Cohen, great on commentary to start it off, a 59 segment rating. Mike and Cohen, welcome on to the show. We're going to have one hell of a show tonight here at the SCI, I assure you, we're open, as I have special guests from the area, movie stars Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. We're going to see the crowning of our SCW Tag Team Champions as Big and Bad take on Sanity. Yes, Sanity. Take on Vandal 48. Take on SCU. So we brought in two tag teams for the night, Sanity and SCU, to fluff it out. And in our main event, we're going to see one called Manders taking on Zilla for 2. Okay. In the opening match, we have Coughlin defeating Zicky Dice in 11 minutes via submission. 48-17 with a 53 overall between Coughlin and Dice. They're really good in the ring. 47 and 50, crowd rating not so much. They're not very over, but regardless, they're good in the ring. Remember, we have that 70-30-30-70 split between popularity and in-ring production. Obviously, this was based on in-ring quality. Commentary gave it a boost. In the next match, we had Rob Van Dam defeating Joseph Samuel with a 5-star frog splash. 45-33-48 for the legend Rob Van Dam with a victory over Joseph Samuel. 45s across the board. White hot. All right. Next up, and about that at fantastic heat and good wrestling, Ortiz defeats Tom Lower in 13-21 via pinfall. It was chaotic in order to get the crowd going. 46-35 and 48. 49 and 42 for Ortiz and Lawler. Lawler and Ortiz didn't really seem to click, and it made for an awkward bout, but it did get the crowd going. So they didn't work great, but they're pretty over, and the fans knew them and they liked them, so it did help us. So that's great. All right, next up. And about that had great wrestling and good heat. Big and Bad, Matt Tremont and Sam Stackhouse defeated Sanity, SoCal Uncensored, and Vandal 48 when Stackhouse pinned Otis Kogar. The match was designed to tell a story. Big and Bad won the SCW Tag Team Championships. Kogar was the weak link. 47 and 50 for Stackhouse and Tremont. Damo and Tesher with 54s apiece. Kazarian and Sky with 49 and 52. Obviously, they're getting older. Napier and Otis Kogar with a 53. I brought them in to bump up the segment rating, which it did work. So that's great. Damo building his Beast of Belfast, and we got the Old School Face and Heavy Metal Room gimmick, both of which doesn't really matter because they're both leaving and won't be back. But I wanted to bring two established tag teams, such as Sanity and Uncensored. That's something, GCW's done in the past, and a lot of the other indie promotions will do. We'll bring in some bigger name shows to put over their younger card talent, and we're definitely building around Tremont and Stackhouse here, the tag team division, out the gate at least. They got a great tag team specialist, Bomis. They also got a tag team specialist, Bomis, as did Kogar and Christian Napier, their family. And Big and Bad, while they're not family, Tremont and Stackhouse are big and bad, probably pushing 800 pounds combined. They get the victory, and then they're your inaugural SCW Tag Team Champions. All right, next up, a theme to Jay and Silent Bomb hits as Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith show up on the ramp, waving to fans. Kevin Smith has been on the microphone first and said that he bets nobody knew how big of a wrestling fan they actually were, or that they were big fans of SCW. When he heard they were coming to the backyard, he had to come and see them. When he showed up, Mike told him that he could have a live mic. Jason Mewes now begins to speak gibberish mostly as always and begins to say how much he loves professional wrestling as well. He then talked for a while about becoming a wrestler as a kid. He talks, but the arena goes dim. So 47 here for Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob. He was held back with a language barrier for not speaking the same language as the fans. He speaks a lot of gibberish, that is sure. All right, Vandal 48's music hits now as Otis is flanked with Atticus and Christian Napier, and they show up on the ramp, making their way to the ring. Mind you, Christian and Otis aren't happy about losing the tag team match. Atticus asks Jay if he's fucking high like usual. He says he can think of what he can do as he's an absolute joke, and he must be kidding. Jay nods that he didn't really think about it, but he did. Atticus rips into Jason's Mewes some more as Jason begins to run his mouth back, letting him know that he had trained him when he wanted. He'd be able to beat that ass, doing Jason Mewes stuff, just joking around. Jokingly, but nevertheless, Otis doesn't take kindly and gets in his face, as does Christian Napier. Atticus Kogar, cooling down, pulls him back, just laughing and says to ignore it. But upon doing so, levels Kevin Smith, sending him to the ground. Mewes is shocked, and after looking at Kevin, sprints to Atticus, hitting him on the side, not doing much damage. Otis and Christian immediately grab Jason and toss him to the ground, and all three begin to pounce and beat the crap out of Jay, then Silent Bob, to a chorus of boos. Eventually, Vandal 48 leaves, as some members of the locker room come out to chill him out. So Mewes again with his gibberish. Atticus Kogar, Kevin Smith, everyone really improvising with the crowd. 47 here, though. Kogar, Vandal 48, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, special appearance, and Vandal 48 just doing what Vandal 48 does and being a bunch of fucking assholes. So 47 here. In the next match, we had Priscilla Kelly defeating Zeta Steel in 10:43 by submission with a tilt-a-whirl Dragon Sleeper. Zeta Steel seemed off her game, 68 and 54 for Kelly and Steel, and we did give the crowd a breather, but I guess they went on too long for an eye candy match. Again, using Priscilla's backside to our advantage here. 40 overall, 61 and 30, but penalties for being too long. And in the main event, Zilid Fatu defeats One Called Manders by pinfall following interference from Mance Warner. 53 for Manders, 57 for Fatu. The storyline has advanced, and the creative finish was a success. 60 overall with a fantastic main event. Speaking of the main event, though, as the bell sounds, Mance Warner begins to stomp into One Called Manders as Sawyer Wreck is tossed from a side and behind a run-in from Seth to Lander. Clothes are being torn in the process. Clothes everywhere! The 2-on-1 continues as the Mad King and SCW champion Eddie Kingston now run in to make the save. The show has erupted into chaos. Everyone is yelling, screaming, and fighting among themselves. Myself, me, Mike. I'm frustrated after the Atticus, Kevin Smith, and Jason Mewes stuff. Now I stand up. Tomorrow night, since you ladies want to keep tearing at one another's attire, it's going to be Sawyer Wreck and Steph DeLander in a throwback 90s style Attitude Era bra and panties match. And we're going to have it where Jay and Silent Bob Strike match. One hell of a main event, too. It's going to be Zilla Fatu challenging Eddie Kingston inside of a steel cage for his championship. So really, really, really big main event here heading into tomorrow. Stephanie and Steph underperformed, but Kingston and Mance Warner were fantastic. Fatu struggled off crepe, as did Manders, but the commentary helped us. So we're going to continue to let everyone grow here. A 58 increasing our popularity in 57 reasons. Still not back above 60 where I would like, but we're consistently getting between the high 50s and low 60s now, so I'll take it. But until next time, this was SCW. I assure you, we're open from the battleship in front of 100 people. Until next time, have a glorious rest of your day.